Welcome into the Songwriter Showcase with Bubba Starts. We feature independent artists every week in our live studio setting and broadcast their music to the world. Enjoy the show. This program is part of the Scene Projects Podcast Network. Well, welcome back to the Songwriter Showcase from the Scene Projects. We are here at the Midway Saloon in St. Paul, Minnesota, and now I have Tyler Herwig with me. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Thanks for having me, Bubba. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
It's been too long.
It has, like almost a year.
Yeah, crazy how time flies. Well, Tyler, before we get into the music, why don't you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Tyler. I sing songs. This is it. This is all that I do. So I'm a singer-songwriter based out of the Twin Cities here. I perform 280 shows a year all throughout the Midwest, and I'm kind of just living the dream, one song at a time. It's pretty cool.
One song at a time. I think there's a song there.
There probably is.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. 280 shows a year. How do you do it?
Practice, patience, and a lot of water.
Yeah, a lot of water.
Honestly. Yeah, and podcasts help too. I wish I knew a good podcast to listen to.
Oh, well, I could recommend one.
Could you?
Yeah.
Well,
You've
good.
actually been featured on it a couple of times now.
A few times.
Yes, you have, and we actually got into that. I mean, 280 shows to someone like me who maybe doesn't even play 50 or 60 shows a year. It's just like bonkers. It's like, holy cow, that's 4 times what I'm doing and trying to output that. It's a little bit different now that I am doing the podcasting, and we're doing a lot more writing on the sceneprojects.com, shameless plug. But we, it takes a lot. It takes a toll physically. Like, I've only played 2 shows this week, and I can feel my voice and everything going. So is there any tips or tricks for people who are, pursuing this dream to kind of take care of their voice and to help them, have some longevity in their career?
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely recommend as you're adding more shows to your schedule year over year, add them slowly. Like, don't go from doing 50 shows to 280 shows, like, overnight. That is a good way to destroy your voice. I've been very blessed to have started off my career when I was only 16, and I'm 31 now. So I've added a few more shows year over year over year, and that's allowed my voice to strengthen over time as opposed to just trying to take on a brunt load right all up front.
Right.
I also do a lot of stuff like drinking a lot of tea, which is always helpful. I sleep with a humidifier on, which seems maybe like not the biggest deal to some people, but that just helps to lubricate your voice and helps with that recovery day after day. You can also do like nebulizer treatments if you want to get real fancy with it. Now, I'll do that if I'm feeling pretty weak on a particular day, if I'm fighting a cold. And then not talking outside of shows is something that I've really taken to heart. Like, I typically take one day off a week where I'm not performing or singing, and for me that's normally Mondays, where I do a full day of vocal rest. So on Mondays I don't talk at all, which is weird for some people, and is a hard practice to get into, but it's the only way to give my voice time to truly recover.
For someone like me, Tyler, that is insane to even consider. I'm sure my wife would love it. Danielle's smiling ear to ear right now just thinking about a vocal rest day.
No, it's a cool practice too, because like you learn a lot about yourself and like how uncomfortable silence can be. I was actually just this morning was listening to another speaker that I listen to frequently. His name is Trent Palmberg, and he was talking about how uncomfortable people get quickly with silence. And in the U.S., on average, people get uncomfortable with silence in about 4 seconds.
That's wild.
The best in the entire world is Japan, where they get uncomfortable after 8 seconds.
Wow.
So learning to just sit and be still with yourself with no distractions, nothing going on, is a huge challenge for people in general. And so it's been a really cool practice that I started as just like a vocal recovery thing, and is turning into this whole like meditative day that I get for myself once a week.
Well, that's great. And do you find that, especially because it is such a grueling schedule that you have, especially now, traveling to Nashville and doing all these things, that day is almost the most important day of the week to kind of come back to that center, to have that rest, to find the energy to go back out there and do it all over again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's my wife's favorite day of the week. So
Sure it is. We're going to talk more about the wife and the family, I'm sure, after you play us a song. But why don't we get into the music? Why don't you play us a song?
Yeah, so the first song I want to do for you guys is one I wrote several years ago and released back in January of this year. It's a song that I play pretty much anytime I get the opportunity, and it's called Enough. And the story behind this song is really the whole reason that I'm singing and take music as seriously as I do. I'm coming up here on, it'll be 5 years clean and sober from addiction in just a few weeks.
We can get some taps for that for sure.
Thank you. I don't want to front my time, but I'm pretty excited. I think I'm going to make it. So, and this song is one that I wrote is really just an apology to all the people that were willing to try their best for me, even during the times when I wasn't willing to try my best for myself. So, this is enough.
Let's hear it.
I've been keeping all these secrets and hiding all of my feelings. Drinking every day just to cover them up. Wasting pieces of paper on changing and vapor. When would I figure out it was never enough? If I could change your mind, you know that I would. No need to say goodbye. The point is understood. You told me that it wasn't enough, but you gave all you had for me. Before we went our separate ways, I can't blame you, I messed it up. Tell me you knew me at my best, but my worst was just too much for you. I'll take all the blame, I was just lucky to take you home. You've been telling me that you're heaven sent. The words you said didn't come from above. Used to be able to weather the weather. It rained and I changed. You had enough. If I could turn back time, you know that I would. Then days went by so fast. You did all you could. But you told me that it wasn't enough, and you gave all you had for me. Before we went our separate ways, I can't blame you, I messed it up. Tell me you knew me at my best, but my worst was just too much for you. I'll take all the blame, I was just lucky to take you home. I'm sorry for the things I said I never knew that I needed. I needed changing, and you couldn't save me. You told me that it wasn't enough, but you gave all you had for me. Before we went our separate ways, I can't blame you, I messed it up. Tell me you knew me at my best, but my worst was just too much for you. I'll take all the blame, I was just lucky to take you home. I'll take all the blame, I was just lucky to take you home.
It's a beautiful song, Tyler.
Thanks, man.
It's nice to be sitting next to you and hear that vulnerability right here in my ears, man.
Thanks,
it really touches my soul. Your music heals, man, and I think the fan base and the career that you're building speaks to that. I think the things you write about, obviously, recovery, addiction. Those aren't easy things to address. Those aren't easy things to just lay it out there and go, hey, I'm a mess. You know what I mean? My life was completely broken, but I think the success story that you're writing right now is so inspiring to so many millions of people. We just got to get the word out about you. And that's why the scene projects and everything that I'm doing is so important, because not everybody is as lucky as I am to be surrounded in their whole lives with these beautifully talented people who are sharing themselves, right? So I get the best job in the world to get to share you with the world, So awesome, Tyler. You mentioned your wife. I know she's very, very pregnant right now.
Yes.
You guys actually just spent the whole night in the hospital. Thankfully, everyone is okay.
Yes.
But, I appreciate your commitment to coming in here, and you could have called me and told me the story, and I would have been perfectly fine with it.
Well, somebody's got to pay the hospital bills, so it might as well be me,
Well, the check's in the mail, bud. I wouldn't check too soon.
Okay.
But yeah, Megan is a huge part of your career as well. You shared with me that she's kind of your social media and content creator side of what you're doing, and we all know that in this world now that it is so important to be putting that stuff out there consistently and doing all of that. Can you kind of talk about the power duo that you guys are and how that's helped you to really amplify your career and to get to that next step?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only is she one of my biggest inspirations, she and my daughter and soon-to-be son are some of my biggest inspirations for writing, but she's really the reason that I took music from what was a well-paid hobby into a full-time career. Actually, so when I was a year sober, I moved out of the sober house, we got married, and the day after we got married, she told me that as my wedding gift, she believed in my dream so much that she wanted me to quit my day job and pursue music full time. And her logic behind that was basically that, she had a good paying job at the time, and that if I failed, it would be okay because we didn't have any kids. So she could support us by herself. Well, 3 weeks later, we found out we were pregnant with our daughter. So we had a very successful wedding night, and it's all been kind of a roller coaster from there. But she's continued to encourage me. Even when we found that out, she had no hesitation. She was all in and has believed in me, even that, on the days where I play in front of it's me and the bartender for 3 or 4 hours singing songs, she still comes and says, you know what, you're doing the thing that you need to do, and maybe the bartender needed to hear the songs you were singing that night. And she's continued to push me to find more shows, to play on bigger stages. And actually, as of just this year, she quit her full-time job and her dream job to come and support me even more, and like you said, take over a lot of the responsibilities that I had with creating my own content every single day. And she's now an official partner with Tyler Herwig Music. So
That's
it's
amazing.
just been really cool to see this evolution of, it started off with like my dream for over a decade to then she pushed me into it. And now she's come in and fully embraced that this is how
she
we're
pushed
gonna
you
live
in
our life.
first, and then she cannonballed in right behind you.
Yeah, right on top of me, you could say.
Yeah. And that's how you ended up with baby number 2.
That's how we ended up with baby number 2.
My daughter's eczema was out of control. She couldn't sleep because she was scratching her whole back, her bottom, her elbows, her knees, everything was just covered. I'm pretty sure it's genetic for her, but I know that there are things in our environment that are exacerbating it or making it worse, right? It could even be things like laundry detergent, the wash she was using in the bath, lotions I was using on her. I saw my friend posting that her little one was also struggling with eczema and that she used this special lotion. Right here, the best stuff that we have tried so far. We did try other lotions and creams that worked, but they broke the bank. We literally could not afford to buy them on a regular basis to keep up with how much she was having eczema breakouts. But this stuff was great, super affordable, safe for her super sensitive skin. She's only 2, and I have no hesitations of putting this on her, and it's been the best thing that has worked so far.
Play us another song. We are
that
poor
was
comedians.
a dumb joke, Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's all right. You're a dad. I'm a dad. It happens.
But do you actually know when a dad joke becomes a dad joke?
No.
It becomes a parent.
Oh.
Ta-dum-tsh. All right, the next song I want to sing for you guys is actually a song I wrote called All Yours, and I released it just earlier this year. It's really the way that I found to say thank you to my wife for supporting my dream and for coming in and taking over some of the responsibilities that I was holding on to. And so this just walks you through my way of saying thank you to her. So this is all yours. Used to be the kind of guy you'd never like. Stay up all night, always swiping right. Just trying to make it through the day. Staying medicated, told myself this was my best life. And now I'm flying high. I'm never coming down. When I'm with you, I'll never touch the ground. I got everything I need to be happy. I got everything I want and more. Now I'm somebody who's got someone next to me. I thank God that I'm all yours. Oh, I thank the Lord. must be with life wooden up like a white picket fence in a suburban life. Domesticated, but we're always playing, making memories to last a lifetime with you. Now I'm flying high, I'm never coming down. When I'm with you, I'll never touch the ground. I got everything I need to be happy. I got everything I want and more. Now I'm somebody who's got someone next to me. I thank God that I'm all yours. Oh, I thank the Lord. I got everything I need to be happy. I got everything I want and more. Now I'm somebody who's got someone next to me. I thank God that I'm all yours.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I think when I listen to your songs, I don't hear country music, right? But we're both members, Midwest Country Music Organization, but you're also a member of the CMAs.
I am.
The CMA.
The
right?
CMA.
Do you feel that your style holds you back in the country music world, or do you feel like being kind of different from what is the mainstream and what people would typically think of as country music? Do you feel like that setting you apart is kind of helping your career advance a little bit more?
Sure, I definitely think there's some challenges with it because I definitely walk kind of fine line between country and pop music. One of the things that I've found, at least in my opinion, is that I think country music is more about telling a story.
Yes.
And that's kind of
I would 100% agree with you.
And that's my goal. And so when I write a song and I take it all the way through production, like sometimes it doesn't have a country sound necessarily, but the storytelling aspect is there. And that to me is what defines country music, especially as we've seen so many pop and hip hop influences. Like you can hear country songs right now that have just these big 808s playing in the background. And I'm like, you know what? Well, why can't my song be considered country too? Like maybe it's not everyone's version of country, but that's okay. My goal is to tell the story and to serve the song as best I can.
Right. Well, and especially considering that, obviously, I think I speak for everyone that when you sing and when you play, there's the Jason Mraz, there's the Ed Sheeran kind of thing, but there's not necessarily a home right now in popular music, pop music for that, right?
Sure.
All of it is mostly electronically done. It's the kind of EDM sound, and it's very homogenized, I feel like, in that, in the sound of it. And there's not a lot of room for this. So I think you made the right choice to just be true to yourself, but to lean into the country communities because that's where the storytellers are.
Absolutely. And there's in every genre of music, there really is just kind of this unique community. And I found that I connect with the people, at least at the moment, the best in the country community. We have a lot of the same values. We have a lot of the same kinds of stories, and we like to sing in the same way. Like I don't typically perform with a large band, so I can find a lot of my shows more easily if I'm just doing a solo thing, and that kind of locks me into a little bit more of a country route, just me and an acoustic guitar. But I don't know. I love the country community.
Right. Well, I think it's because of the people, obviously. I mean, look at all of us here hanging out.
Absolutely.
And especially,
you don't find pop musicians doing this.
No.
We don't.
No. Well, it's not part of their world. Community is not part of that world. The pop music world is, I want to be the star. Right. I don't want to be one of many stars in the sky. I want to be the one that shines the brightest, and that's kind of the attitude of the genre. So I think you found a home. I'm so glad that you're my brother, and we're attached in so many of these communities, and we get to share our stories with one another. It's so fun. Tell us a little bit about what a typical week for you working now kind of looks like. I know you're commuting to Nashville from Minneapolis weekly. I assume with the baby coming, that'll probably take a little bit of a break, at least maybe for a few weeks. But kind of share with us, because that's not a typical Midwest job or job description, rather.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth between Nashville. I work with a lot of different producers and songwriters out there, as well as a couple different studios to kind of, not only hone my own craft, but to make some good music. And so that's been an exciting thing. And there's only so much I can talk about with that at the moment. But it definitely adds a different layer of complexity to what I was used to doing, which is, staying really within about 100 miles of the Twin Cities here, which is like my home base. And so now I have this opportunity to perform all over the world and sing songs for people. My typical week, though, really looks like trying to spend as much time with my family as I can, so that way I can be a present father and husband. And then, honestly, recently it's a lot of TikTok. There's a lot of TikTok. I go live on TikTok a lot now, which is a great thing. Like, it's a cool resource, but definitely is.
Are you seeing a lot of new fans from there?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right. Okay. So I know we talk a lot of smack on TikTok and we talk a lot, but I think it's the #1 new fan
like generator
place. Yeah, generator.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And I mean, I think that each social media platform kind of has a unique purpose, and understanding what that purpose is, and then just kind of tailoring the same content but maybe a little different wording for each platform is really helpful. Like, I find that Instagram and Facebook, for me at least, are more about fostering long-term relationships with people. TikTok and YouTube tend to be more about discoverability. And so as far as getting just my face in front of people, TikTok and YouTube have served me the best with the quickest return on investment as well.
And you can do it from home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you can make really good money doing it. Like, I started live streaming just all of my normal performances. Like, I set up a little tripod in my phone and don't even interact with the TikTok audience at all. And I've been doing it since January of this year, so almost a year now. And I went from like 1,000 followers. Now I'll hit 16,000 this afternoon for sure. And I make on average about $100 extra a night just on TikTok.
We would all take that, would we not? Right? An extra $100 in the tip jar at the end of the night. So let that be a lesson to everyone. If you don't have a TikTok, go make yourself a TikTok for your band. Be going live on there and getting it out there and using it as a tool, right? You don't have to spend all your time there. But all of these social media things, I mean, none of this happens without Facebook. I'm going to let you all know that right now. Facebook is the reason that I'm connected with any of these artists and any of these venues and everything. It was all built off of social media. It's just a matter of how you use the tool.
Absolutely. And there's really cool communities. Like, I've been able to connect with some artists on TikTok that are like those viral artists that you see singing in like kitchens and stuff that have tens of millions of followers and stuff. They're all really friendly, and I've been able to actually communicate with them. And
have you met Alexandra K down there yet?
No.
Okay. we're big fans of hers. We were at a show of hers in Sioux Falls more than a year ago now. It was summer of 2023. This year she was on tour with Jelly Roll playing arenas, right? Wow. So she went from playing for a few hundred people in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and what she did was she did meet and greets, and she hugged every single person that wanted to see her. She didn't charge a dime for it. There was no VIP. She put in the time with all of her fans, pre-show, post-show. During the show, she pulled Danielle's sign up that we made. Danielle walked down the aisle to her song, so we made a sign that said that. She pulled the sign up there, made a big deal about us. She changed my life because I was like, that's what it's about. We want to be special. When we come to the show, we want to be seen. We want to be heard and to feel that specialness and to share how, that person's music affected us, right? And not everybody has the opportunity like I do to sit on stage with these wonderful performers and to do this. So,
and that's one of the things that I've actually started doing something similar is I allow my fans to book Zoom calls with me. And I host 15-minute meet and greets with all my fans.
That's awesome,
so
man.
I can meet them from all over the world. I was just on a Zoom call 2 days ago with a woman from the UK, which was wild.
You guys, if you're listening, you're watching, artists, take lessons from this man. This is how this thing is done. You got to be out there playing. You got to be out there writing and connecting with people. And it's not about where you're at, and it's not about who you know. It's about who you are and being true to that, and then going out and finding the people that connect with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play me one more song, Tyler, and then I got to let you go.
All right, this last one is unreleased. It's brand new. I wrote it when my wife told me that she was pregnant with baby number 2 just a few months ago. And this song is really, long story short, when she told me she was pregnant, I took her and my daughter to Disney World as like one little family vacation where it would just be the 3 of us one last time before my son is born and ruins all my plans. And so we go to Disney World. I made the mistake of taking them to Disney World in the middle of June, which is the worst time to go to Disney World. We were there for 4 days. It was 98 degrees out, super humid, and for 3 of the 4 days, it just thunderstormed the entire time. And so to paint the picture, I'm standing in line to ride this stupid teacup thing for 2.5 hours with a screaming 2.5-year-old. and in the pouring rain. And we eventually get through some of these dumb rides, and we go to the park where you get to meet all the characters, and my wife is standing next to me, and my daughter sees Mickey Mouse for the first time, right? And she is over the moon, because in her mind, Mickey Mouse is real and the most famous person in the world. So she runs up to him, and I look over at my wife, and she's just got this giant smile on her face and is bawling these happy tears. And it kind of clicked for me in that moment that no matter what I was going to say or how I was going to act, nothing was going to take away her joy, because she was going to actively choose happiness. And it dawned on me when we got back to where we were staying that when I'm 80 years old, retired, sitting on my porch, yelling at kids to get off my front lawn, right next to me is going to be this beautiful woman who's encouraging me to choose joy throughout it all. And that's what inspired this next song, Honey, That's You. Cigarette on my lip, sundress on your hips, and they're doing what you do. Oh, honey, that's you. Laughing when there's no joke, you're always ready to go. You don't need no makeup on, it's true. Oh, honey, that's you. The one I've been praying for my whole life. Someone to spend my days and nights. The one that'll love me wrong, alright, and wear my ring if you ask me. Oh, honey, that's you. You found a mess in me. Look past what I couldn't see inside myself. Somehow you know it. Oh, honey, that's you. The one I've been praying for my whole life. Someone to spend my days and nights. The one that'll love me wrong, alright, and wear my ring if you ask me. Oh, honey, that's you. When I'm 80 years old, our kids are married and grown, I know who I'll be holding on to. Oh, honey, that's you. The one I've been praying for my whole life. Someone to spend my days and nights. The one that'll love me wrong, alright, and wear my ring if you ask me. Oh, honey, that's you. Oh, honey, that's you.
Amazing stuff, Tyler. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find you? And
you can find me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all at Tyler Herwig Music. And if you guys want to join that exclusive community that I was talking about, where you can book like meet and greet calls with me and stuff, you can check out tylerherwig.streetteam.fm.
Awesome. Everyone, once again, Tyler Herwig.
Thanks, Bubba.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scene Projects Podcast Network. We appreciate you listening. You can find more at thesceneprojects.com. Join our community.
Pour that love on me like water. Got an ocean full of love that's made for two.